Oh no, I did it good. How is everyone's weekend going today? Good to see you all. We're back for another awesome cooking stream. Palooza, you may legally be an adult, but do not be fooled. Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing. It's true. Ooh. Kimmers, thanks for being first today. And yeah, yesterday's stream was so delicious. If you guys missed the stream, definitely watch the VOD. If you don't want to take all the time to watch the VOD, I did make a little YouTube short as well as an Instagram reel, so definitely check out my socials if you missed that. I've been doing little plating videos and they have been going over well, so I'll keep doing that. Welcome in, yet it is. Hello Blondie, hello Valk. Valk, the smoke here today. Who ordered this? Who ordered this? I was so excited to like sit outside this weekend under the tree. Yeah, that's not gonna be happening now. Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for the follow first thing, Ivy Tech 9800128. Hello Bossman as well. I'm doing good, guys. I had a pretty good sleep. I was up only at 6 a.m. today, so definitely got like 7 hours, so that is definitely good. We are making improvements there. I went to the farmer's market this morning, got some amazing produce from my favorite vendors. It was lovely. I didn't spend too much money, and now I have all these amazing, like look at this tomato plate that I made. All this amazing produce for the next couple of weeks. So excited to eat all of it. We knew it would be like this, right? Because I also went to the grocery store just to pick up the crab for tomorrow's stream, and the girl and I were talking in there because they were opening up the like garage door. I was like, I don't know if you guys want to open that today. It's pretty smoky. And we're all just like, yeah, I didn't think it was gonna come this early, but 'tis the season. Yeah, it is. It's true. Yeah, we as adults, we should be able to laugh at ourselves and not to take things too seriously. We can really get caught up in that like fast-paced energy of always trying to be like perfect and stuff. Life is way more fun when you don't take things as seriously. And it's easier to pretend like you don't know what you're doing. It's easier that way. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? So yeah, guys, we are like fully blanketed in fire smoke today. They said like, don't go outside if you don't have to. Gross. You seen it all, Michael? It's so delicious. And I was really excited because the one greenhouse had mint today for our dish. I haven't been able to find mint at the grocery store, but they had it at the farmer's market, so winning. And yeah, I go really early. I went like right at 8 o'clock when they open because the parking down where the farmer's market is really just not good. And I noticed that today when I drove, they blocked off even more of the roads to park because during the summer they set up like different festivals and picnic benches and stuff like that, and they really block off all the bike lanes. It was like, holy smoke. So go early and it'll just be a better experience too, right? Unless you really love people, then by all means go in the middle of the day and then you get that experience too. Okay, so we're gonna be cooking 2 different things today. On Saturdays, we always try to do a main course as well as a dessert, so that is what we are gonna do. It is scary. Yeah, the fires that this smoke is coming from is actually from the province over. I thought it was from up north, but yeah, BC's already on fire. I hate it. It's like the worst time of year. But we'll make it through. As always, right? As long as we stay safe, that's all that matters. So here's our menu for the day. I'm really excited to make this today. I have peanut butter that I noticed was getting close to going bad. So I thought that we would make some peanut satay sauce for this dish today, as well as I had some really delicious pork chops left over. Remember that loin that we got last week and then we portioned it all up. So I just took out a couple of these. Look at them. Look at how good those are gonna be. So we'll just sear those up and then slice them for the salad and then serve it with our peanut sauce. And then to go with the rest of the salad bowl, we are going to make some vermicelli rice noodles, cabbage. All of this, like veggies, is going to be fresh. So julienne cabbage, peppers, carrots. We'll put some pickled onion on there. I have cilantro fresh and some lime. So it's going to be a very refreshing and healthy salad. And yeah, usually when it starts to warm up, this is more like how I cook in the summertime. I don't do a lot of like heavy and hot meals just because it's hard for your body to digest that when it's really warm out. So we always eat a little bit lighter. Yeah, if anyone saw the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis last night, where you were in the world, please feel free to post photos in Discord. My jaw's just been like, my mouth's been open the whole morning as I've been like flipping through photos from my friends online. Absolutely, but like beautiful, unreal even. The craziest that I've ever seen for sure, and that's what everyone else has said too. My friend lives like more downtown here, and I think she's on like the 13th floor or something. And she said she couldn't see them unless she looked through her camera and like took photo or video and then they appeared on the screen. But to look with her naked eye, it just looked kind of cloudy, which I thought was really interesting as well. They're yours, pal. I can't have them. You almost always miss cool stuff like that. I didn't see any, and like I was up at 4 in the morning just for a bathroom break, but it was already starting to get light here at that time. And I have zero like south kind of facing windows, so I wouldn't have seen it anyway. But hopefully, yeah, hopefully the smoke clears and I'll be able to see something tonight. Because like I was saying yesterday, yet it is, the whole like year that I worked in the Arctic, never even seen them once. So funny. Okay, here's our recipes. Let's pop those up and we'll make a prep list. And then for our dessert today, we're making some simple cookies. We're gonna use some more sourdough starter up, some discard, because I'm always feeding Miss Goldilocks over here. So I fed her last night and then discarded, but then, so I just wanted to show you, usually when I feed her, the line's about there. And then you let her sit at room temperature and then she rises up and gets all happy from what you fed her. So she's still really happy. And one note on this is I actually didn't feed this this would be the 2nd week. So you can keep it in the fridge, and I don't go more than 2 weeks unless you're like going on vacation or something, just because you kind of stress out the starter and you don't want it to die, that's for sure. Yeah, I saw that right before I was starting stream. There was like a little notification from the weather app that said the sunspot is so big that you could fit like a certain amount of Earths inside of it. Wild. But yeah, we're not seeing nothing today. And one note on our Thumbprint cookies, I'm gonna be using apricot jam today instead of a strawberry or sort of raspberry style jam. It's just good to use what you already have in the fridge. Has it been like a long time, Valk, since we've had that strong of a solar flare? I think I read it's been about 20 years since we had a warning like this of the solar flares. Okay, first things first, let's do the cookies. I think that'll be the smartest thing. I haven't really read through this recipe, but whenever you make cookies, they're usually made the same way. And very similar ingredients every time. Since 2005-ish. So yeah, almost like 20 years. Crazy. And do we think like Thumbprint cookies are a festive cookie around Christmas time? I don't know. I'm down to have these jam cookies anytime. in my life, but that was one note on the recipe. You read 10 years, but also read 20 years, but differing opinions. True, right? It depends on what they are comparing, I suppose. This is crazy. Listen to this. Prep time for the cookies, 10 minutes, and cook time, 4 minutes. So potentially we should be able to make these in 14 minutes. That sounds like an impossible task. Should we just start a stream channel where we speedrun recipes like this? That'd be so stressful though. Like for me, not for you guys. Depends on what you put in the thumbprint. True, I suppose if you're using something red, it is definitely more festive, sort of Christmassy colors. They're around Christmas when you were a little child. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can make them any time of the year. It does say that we're making 30 cookies, but these are going to be smaller. Just judging by the bake time is only 4 minutes. These are definitely going to be little petite cookies, so probably like 3 per portion. Oh, and one note actually. Yes, speedrun with Sammy. That'd be amazing, right? Okay, one note when I went shopping this week is I always go shopping on like the app for the grocery store because they post the flyer there, and then you can also like shop online and compare prices. So I always now put the price from the flyer beside the ingredient on my shopping list, because so the icing sugar on the flyer online was $3.99 for the kilo. But when I went to the store, the price on the shelf was $5.29. I was like, okay, what is going on here? And so then I just like made that note in my head, right? For when you go to the checkout to make sure you ask. And it was actually the store manager that rang me through. So we had a great conversation. I was like, just so you know, I'm not paying $5.29 for that. I'm only paying $3.99. And he said that if you shop through the flyer or online, that is always the most accurate pricing. But now we can see how much they are raising the price in like a 1 week period. Insane. For the exact same thing. I don't get it. Bro did that yesterday, done a batch of peanut butter cookies, made 1 pie pan size. I used to love doing that. Cookie pies, or cookie cakes I called them. Torino, how are you doing today, my fellow Canadian? Samo likes this idea, speedrun with Sammy. Because let's be honest, Sam would actually be the best person to do the speedruns because he doesn't talk. He just cooks anyways. So I could be like in the background narrating the speedrun. That could actually be really fun. I haven't seen anything like that on Twitch, so maybe we'll think about doing that when he's home. Went outside, you were scared, you're not going anywhere now. That sounds like a good idea, dude. Okay, so we'll do our cookies. From these sourdough cookie recipes, it seems like the sourdough adds more structure to the cookie, and therefore you don't have to chill them as long, right? That's how you're able to make it so quick. So it's gonna be pretty firm, so we'll scoop out the dough first. And then, yeah, we just put our thumbprint in, put your jam in, and right to baking. I love that. The worst part about making cookies is letting the dough chill. Because it's always so sad when it just like spreads out into a flat pancake. Scoots, how are you doing today? Used to get one from Mrs. Fields for your grandpa every year for his birthday. I've always eyed up that cookie place in the mall. Because when you walk by it, it smells so delicious. Alright, cookies. After that, I think we will start prepping our veggies for the salad. Or actually, we'll make the peanut sauce first, the Satay sauce. could also make this with chicken or beef. Really anything. Shrimp would be super good in here as well. So lots of options for proteins. And then let's say if you're vegetarian, I think tofu or even tempeh would be yummy in this. Recently found out about a bakery in Orlando called Gideon's Bakehouse that makes the most insane half-pound cookies. You'd actually consider getting on a plane for a cookie? Do it! Can you use points? Maybe it'll be worth it then. Taking a break from mowing and weeding and feeding. That sounds like a dream life, Scoots. Everything is good here. Okay, after we make the peanut sauce, because I always think it's smart, especially cold sauces, if you let them sit a little bit of time while you prepare the rest of the dish. Just marry up those flavors. It'll all balance itself out. So then for our veggies, we got peppers. We'll do some carrot julienne, cucumber. Wait till you see this most adorable cabbage that I found at the store this week. I actually was like so excited. I was kind of freaking out. It's the cutest cabbage I've ever freaking seen in my life. I just want you guys to think it's as cute as I do. It's seriously amazing. I hate buying a huge cabbage and then it takes like over a month to use up. It's so petite. And yeah, I chose the purple cabbage today just so that we have lots of nice different colors on the plate too. So we'll have red pepper, orange carrot, green cucumber, purple cabbage. Have you ever had a breakfast burrito called a breakfast wrap? Yes. Because it's probably not going to have the same ingredients as a breakfast burrito. It might just have more like eggs, cheese, some kind of protein, maybe some sort of potato inside, and that's usually it. Whereas burrito has like beans and salsa and all this other yummy Mexican stuff. You don't have any income right now and you're not a fan of flying at all. Oh, well that's fair then. Maybe if you know someone that's going there, they can pick one up for you too, right? That'd be super cool. Okay, that's our veggies. And then for other garnish, let's say, we need some fresh cilantro and just some lime wedge. Again, I was thinking to squeeze over the plate once it's all together. And then our vermicelli noodles, if you guys have ever cooked these, I'll grab them real quick so you can see. We don't actually have to boil them. All we have to do is boil some water and then pour that over them in a bowl until they soften. And I got the ones, let's say, that are the medium thickness. So it's not the really stringy ones that you get from the Vietnamese place when you get the vermicelli bowl. And it's not the super thick ones that you'll get at like a Thai place. Kind of middle of the road. And I like that texture. It should be nice to eat with all of this. So we'll write that down. And then obviously at the end, kind of the only thing we have to cook is the pork. And we're just gonna pan sear the pork until it is done. I don't think we'll really flavor the pork with too much. Maybe a little bit of coriander and then some salt and pepper just to keep it nice and fresh, because the peanut sauce has a lot of flavor on its own too. I think that's everything. Pork, peanut sauce, rice noodles, cabbage, pepper, carrot. Oh, our pickled onion, which is already done in the fridge. And the recipe is in Discord for you guys if you want to make it. I'm just not going to make more if I have a bunch to use up still. I don't know what's happening today, but my elbow's kind of sore. I woke up. I guess I maybe slept weird. Or it's the pressure in the air. Just a little bit achy. But let's get into this. I'll quickly read the cookie recipe over. Okay, so typical way that we make cookies, we need some softened butter, some sugar, and there's actually just white sugar in these cookies today. There's no brown sugar. And just 1 egg. So I'll get the mixer out and start the butter and sugar creaming, and then we'll get everything together while that's going. Sounds good to me. And I'll use a scale too, because she measures things in grams, so that makes it really easy. Sometimes I can't talk, guys. And you know what? That's okay. Can't always be perfect. Do that for now. I'll just grab a couple containers. To measure the things. Bring the sugar over and the flour while I'm here. Oh, I did see fresh strawberries at the farmer's market today because I've been waiting patiently for those rather than just buying the ones from California that you can get all year. But it was $9 for like probably a container like this full of strawberries, like a pint. I was like, there's no way I'm paying that. And they didn't even look that good. They definitely looked like a good couple days old. So we'll keep waiting on the fresh strawberries. Hopefully when Samo's home. Did we just have 2 ad breaks back to back? What the heck is going on here? Okay, 113 grams of unsalted butter. That's not that much butter if you think about it. Hi, Cookie. Happy Saturday to you as well. I wanted to ask you, Cookie, because I just remembered this morning as I was putting my apron on. Have you tried out your new apron yet? Okay, can we do it? Let's see how good our measuring is. 120? That's pretty dang good. 7 grams off. You're wearing it right now. We're suited up. That's what I always say. Time to get suited up. That's awesome. Do you enjoy the crossback compared to the neck strap? I don't even know how that's possible, Michael, because how I have my ads set, like, it shouldn't be doing that. That's why I'm always questioning it. Lately, I put a little thing on my OBS where when an ad plays on Twitch, it'll pop up and show me it. That's why, like, sometimes I'm like, what is happening right now? Okay, let's soften the butter, but we don't need it melted for sure. Do a 20-second and we'll watch it closely. And then I think we're just gonna use the discard from this because it's quite a small amount. It's only 1/3 of a cup. I was wondering about that scooter, the Twitch Turbo, if people actually think it's worth it. Is this sewing machine goal in bits? It is. That's our bit goal right now. I want to start sewing my own clothes and different things around the house. My husband said he would buy me a sewing machine. So I'm really excited about that because I used to sew a lot when I was in my like teens and early 20s. And it's time to get back to that. This is where I stopped. It's just like a bit melted in the middle, but the rest is still solid. 150 grams of sugar. Whoa! Holy shnikey dikey. Fairly critical. First time chatter. What is happening right now? Thank you very much. You just put us at 92%. My friend, I hope that you stick around. The first project that we will be doing with this sewing machine is sewing my husband a quilt to take up to work with him. He works up in a camp in the Arctic for like 3 to 4 weeks at a time. So that's what he requested for me. And then when I go to get all the supplies and stuff, we will be IRL streaming that together. So it's gonna be a really fun new adventure. Quilting is sewing hard mode. I'm not going like full on quilting, just a simple quilt to start. But I will say this, my aunt actually owns her own quilting business, and I haven't seen it yet, but she has like a fully automated like quilting machine where you just type in on the program what you want the quilt to be, and it'll like do all the patterns for you. Insane. I thought it was super cool when she showed me photos of it. And then, yeah, my grandma sews a lot, and my other aunt sews a lot. So I think it's just like in my genetics. It's really just gonna be a Kate body pillow. Well, I have this quilt that I made once upon a time. Like, what did I say? I think 10 years ago, I made it. And it was mostly just for me. Like, I made it before I met Sam. It was for me and Posh, let's be honest. That's why I made it, because we're often in the basement together. What did I say? 150 I needed? But yeah, the quilt that I made 10 years ago, still kicking it. And then we always fight over that quilt when we're both at home. So I said, I need to make you your own. There we go. Wow. I am like in shock right now. Did you just finish the goal? Ah! Woohoo! Look at my face. I'm like blushing red. Thank you very much for that, Fairly Critical. I love it too. So that means I'm thinking we get to go on an adventure next weekend to go pick out some sewing supplies. It's like, yes, you have a sewing machine, but you still have to buy thread, buy like fabric scissors, buy like the, I forget what the little tool is when you mess up your sewing and you have to take the thread out. So there are some other things that you always need along with a sewing machine to get started. And I don't have any of the stuff that I used to have. I mostly just used my mom's when I was still at home. So this is a whole thing for us now. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, we get to go out, guys. We don't know who Fairly Critical is, but we'll keep them around. We hope they stay. That is super generous. And yeah, I want them to see what we make, right? And me too, Nike. We miss Posh baby girl. It's been, what, 3-4 years now without her? Just the cutest pupper ever. The Stitch Ripper, or Seam Ripper. Yeah, that's the one. The thing that's like basically a weapon. Valk! Thank you, Valk, for gifting the sub to Fairly Critical. Now they're actually part of the kitchen crew. We've sucked them in. CJ Dewey, welcome in. Michael, the question is, how would the content creators be able to be paid if everyone does turbo and no one watches the ads? That is a good question. Because, like, the way that I do my stream, I'm not trying to really make money on ads. I have it on one of the lowest settings ever. So that's actually a good question, dude. I'll look into that. I think I read something lately that said it doesn't matter if the subscriber has turbo and you'll still get paid for the ads. I could be wrong, so maybe double check. Yeah, Faye for Pay says that streamers still get the ad revenue with the turbo viewers. I was right. Good job, Memory. I can't believe we crushed our goal and we haven't even done anything yet today. Okay, let's get back into it before our butter gets hardened again. We got our butter and sugar measured out. Is there anything else that I need to measure before we put the scale away? I can just pour the sourdough discard in a measuring spoon or measuring cup. It's 1/4 of a cup. The flour we can do with the cup. I think we're good. So we can switch to the mixer. Thank you, Cookie. Cookie's like, we'll still even it up though. 998 bits. They just take a little bit of the $12 a month instead. That makes sense. It's gotta come and go from somewhere, right? And there's a level 3 hype chain, so we can say really quick before we start mixing. Choo, choo, choo. That's for all of you that are here today. Plug it in. Let's go get the mixing bowl. Okay, we're not mixing anything into these cookies. Like, it's just a plain dough, so I think I'm okay with the more fine whisk to really whip that butter up. Whip it. Yay! Killers! What is even going on today? Thank you very much, Kimmers, for the 1,000. Now I need a new goal. That's the hardest part, is thinking of that. Let me get a spatula to scrape this butter out. For the tax on this sewing machine, thank you. You guys are so thoughtful. You really just cover all the bases, hey? Keep the container though, because that's where we'll crack our egg into. Pour the sugar. I'll keep that one just in case we need it. And we'll get this mixing as we measure everything else out. This is called creaming the butter and sugar together. One large egg. A delicious looking death meal? Why? Hi, Trev. How's the weekend? You can still make it for the kids? The pork bowl or the cookies? Turn it up. Oh, the tree nuts. Oh, the peanuts. Dang. Because you're allergic, but the kids aren't. This mixer is from Sweden. It is called the Incarcerum mixer. If you do !mixer, it'll post up a link for you. It's the greatest thing ever, seriously. I love it so much that I bought a backup one when someone was selling it secondhand for like a good price. Actually, let's give this a little scrape. You can kind of see how it's getting stuck around the edge. It's actually pretty cool outside today. With this smoke cover, I had to turn the heat back up. You want to put your KitchenAid in the trash every time you use it? Well, that was like before Sam's mom got one of these. Because I think we split going in for her birthday or something like that. But anyways, yeah, she would have to mix her bread dough in her KitchenAid on the carpet because it would eventually make its way off of the counter rocking. So she's like, this is amazing. Just walking right off the counter, it's totally fine. Turn that back up. Let's stir our sourdough and then we'll pour it out. Thank you very much, friends. Oh, I got a new hype train emote from that too. Choo choo. Aw, cute little kitty one. Is the link dead? Really? Thank you for letting me know that. No one else has said anything? You're the first person, and we all often get asked about it. So there's our Goldilocks. And yes, it is a whole wheat sourdough. So you get all of the good benefits. Torino. It's such a small amount in these cookies, just a quarter of a cup. And then once we pour this out, we just put the starter back in the fridge for until the next time you want to use it. Ah! It's going over the edge. Just gonna, actually no, we can't scrape it with that, we're good. Mickey! Your dad broke his hip yesterday? That's what happened when he fell during stream? Oh my goodness. Dude! I'm scraping it again. It's not really fluffing up too much yet. When we cream the butter and sugar, we want it to, the sugar kind of to dissolve in the butter and for it to get lighter. The ambulance came 3 hours later. That is such a long time to wait. If Incarcerum had a decent sale, they would sell so many. I think the product is so good, and same with the warranty is like the biggest part of buying this, is it has one of the biggest and longest warranties. So they don't have to put it on sale ever because people still buy it, which sucks, right? Oh, nice. Sam linked the airplane video for it. Okay, we need vanilla, I know, still. And some baking powder and salt. That's clean. only half a teaspoon of baking powder. The NSF models. I need to like hold the butter to warm it up with my hands. But you can tell as it mixes when it gets lighter. The heck? I have like a hype train emote stuck on my chat. There we go. Yeah, as the butter whips, it gets lighter in color, so you know it's working. This is a weird ratio of butter to sugar. There is a lot more sugar than butter for this. So we'll do one more mix and then we'll add the egg. Samo will be there for another 10 days. You found out for sure today that you're staying, or you're still just going with that? Samo's training to be Santa. I think he'd be a great Santa. We could call him Samta. That's what I usually do every Christmas. Add our egg. And then I think we can put the mixer more in the center now. We'll stir that and then we add the sourdough starter next. Your cousin phoned saying that your aunt fall now too? What's going on in the UK, Mickey? You'll take homemade bacon in your stocking? Me too, actually. I like that idea. I noticed that the egg yolks have been so beautiful and yellow lately here again. It made me happy. I'm wondering if they switched either what they've been feeding the chickens or where they're sourcing them, which farm they get it from. Because that's the Costco eggs. Usually it's a lot more pale yellow. We'll do one more mix. It's Bonk! Hi, Bonk! Welcome in. I hope you had a good week at work. Mickey's the prime suspect now. Yeah. They had too much wine. You gotta be careful. Bad things happen. Gotta be responsible. That's so funny, Mom. You got some satay in the fridge. I will say it is good leftover too. Let's do one more scrape. This is starting to look good. Let me just check the recipe, because the other sourdough one, you add the starter next. But let's see. Okay, we can add the vanilla. And the sourdough starter together, it says. And then we can't forget salt either in these. Salt always helps balance the sweet things. Our vanilla, we're still rolling with this a little bit, but woof. It's getting close. We'll have to either buy or make some soon. Thanks for the visit, Samo. That was nice. It's been a while. He's had an interesting couple days up there, guys. Let's just say the entire water tank for the whole camp for like fresh water, potable water is at like 20% this morning. It's been a time. I'll use the spatula to scrape the rest of that. Well, that's what happened to me, Trev. Is once upon a time when we still lived in Vancouver, I wanted a new KitchenAid. So we went to Costco and got the Professional Series one. It was red. And so I brought it home. And usually I always test a mixer by just making a batch of cookies real quick in it, right? Because if a mixer can't make a batch of cookies, what's the point of having it? And yeah, the beater would not even touch the bottom of the bowl. I think it was a one-off for that one, but still. I returned it the next day. And then I was talking to one of our kitchen reps that worked on like this sort of side with the tools and stuff like that. And he's like, have you ever seen this mixer? That can be adjusted. There's a little screw. I know there's one on this too. But yeah, I just was not happy with it. And it was like shaking on the counter. It was a whole thing. I said, this is not for me anymore, I don't think. And yeah, once we tried this, there's no going back. So I don't usually whip it too much when we add the starter, right? Because yes, there is gluten still in there. That's why it's really important that we do as much of the mixing of the butter, sugar, and egg before this point in the recipe. Because now we can just pile in our dry ingredients, call it a day. You love your KitchenAid? I have heard other people say that they really like it. One of the KitchenAids that I loved is a very old model, and I think those models were still made by Hobart. It was a hand-me-down from my grandma, and it worked flawlessly. It worked so well that I actually was using it in the restaurant for a little bit before we got a proper mixer. And then I was like, I don't want to break this because it works so good. So then I made the restaurant buy their own mixer. Okay, it says 2.5 cups, I believe, of flour. And this is organic all-purpose flour. Yes. One. Yeah, Hobarts are amazing. But yeah, after that model of KitchenAid, they stopped making it by Hobart. And so that's when it really started to change. The other mixers that are similar to this, where the bowl also spins, is that a Sunbeam, I believe? I'll go a little bit less than the half, just to see how it turns out to start. Let's do our baking powder and salt. Half a teaspoon of each. And I guess we can probably get the oven on after this while we're balling and filling them with the jam. Probably one of the gears, yeah, because I heard that the newer KitchenAid gears are made out of plastic. What? Or nylon, yeah. How crazy. Of sourdough, but is anyone else slightly disturbed that the starter can live for over like 1,200 years? It's pretty amazing, hey, Faded? It's a really cool thing. I'm really happy that I started making sourdough again. It was really annoying for the first 3 weeks just because you had to feed it every single day. But now that she's happy, it's nowhere near as stressful. Okay, so we're gonna slowly mix this in. And then it says oven to 350 Fahrenheit. And we don't want to over mix this. I'm just gonna get this heat in because I don't think it is gonna take us very long to scoop this all out. Right. If the gears are plastic, how can you have the strength, like the full strength of the motor running in the mixer? It's just made to break in my mind. It's coming together. I'll stop there just because I want to do a little scrape around the side and underneath before we go fully mixed. Always a smart thing to do. It's one of the more important things when you make cookies, to make sure you're always scraping the bowl. If you guys haven't noticed by the amount of times that I've scraped this thing. Okay, last little bit. You're watching all the videos. Yeah, so this is just a plastic mixing bowl for cookies, meringues, whipped cream, stuff like that. And then there's a metal bowl where you make dough and different things, and there's 2 different attachments, and the bowl just spins. It's crazy. I'm stopping there. It is a pretty firm dough, if you guys can tell. I'm glad I didn't add all the flour because it looks a little bit dry already. So that was a good call. Now we just lift that off, unplug this and take it away. Yeah, what do they call that when products are just designed to fail? They call that capitalism. Like, you're not gonna buy things if they don't break. That was the whole issue back then. No one was buying stuff, so they had to change how they made things. But I will say, a lot of the European brands versus North American brands, the European brands haven't really changed over the years. And that is why, I will say, a lot of the high quality equipment used in restaurants is European branded. Like our food processor, the RoboCoupe, that's from France. The mixer's from Sweden. I don't know where my little Pro immersion blender's from. I'd have to look. Yeah, I guess some of you might actually be able to see the Northern Lights soon, depending on where you are in the world. Watch out for them. That's pretty magical. I don't know the next time that we'll be able to see them like this. I was thinking of maybe even taking a drive out of the city tonight. But seems like a lot of effort for someone who usually goes to bed around 9. Of course you post the photos in Discord. Okay, we're all scraped off as good as I could. You wrote a letter to the president of KitchenAid. They offered you a discounted repair if you drove it to a repair center an hour away. Not even like a free repair, just discounted. That's kind of hilarious, dude. I'm gonna mix this a little bit more aggressive now. Get all those dry bits absorbed. That's as high as the index goes, and we're probably gonna hit that bonk. Okay, see how this is starting to stick together now? I don't like when it squeaks on the board, so I'm just gonna hold it for a sec. That's my one pet peeve, of the sound of the plastic on the wooden cutting board. This just reminds me almost of like a sugar cookie dough, but with sourdough starter, so it's healthy. That's what we tell ourselves, at least. Okay, I'm just gonna rinse my hands, take away a couple of these things, and then we'll prep the sheet pan, and we'll get our jam out. Feel like if you search for Euro Mixer, you're gonna get some weird music and not kitchen equipment. Probably. Proxima, you're hilarious. Thank you very much for that. Don't need that anymore. Hey, it's Chef John the Young. You're lurking. Did you say anything earlier, or you just came in with a lurk? We got all the Canadians in here today. Guys, my hair is like upsetting me right now. It keeps flying around. I might have to put another ponytail in. We'll see. We'll see how long my patience sticks around for my hair. They saw them in Puerto Rico first time since 1921. That is so amazing. And then one other thing I'll get while I'm over here that we'll need when the cookies are finished is the icing sugar that I bought. Keep that on the side. The pics from your bedroom window, Mickey? So cool. The fact that it's so pink and purple, wild. Okay, I'm gonna line the sheet pan. You guys can do parchment. I'm just gonna do my silicone baking mat so that we save paper. We'll see if we need 2 sheet pans, so I'll bring both of the silicone pieces while I'm over here. It says 30 cookies, but I'm thinking they're gonna be really small. What's everyone's favorite type of jam? I think these are yummy with a lot of different types of jam. But today, we're gonna use apricot. I like how chunky it is. And maybe it's not super sweet. It has a nice kind of sour note from the apricots. Now I'm gonna grab the cookie scoop. Like that. Chunky strawberry, yeah. I'm pretty picky, yeah, about my jams. They've got to be really chunky like that. Raspberry jam's your fave. Or like a fresh raspberry jam. My mom would make a lot of freezer jam. Because my baba had a lot of raspberry bushes at her house. I remember picking them all the time in the summer. 36 plus more hours for this. I really hope that I get to see it. Hopefully it's still going tomorrow. Because if it is Sunday night, then I for sure will take a drive out because I don't have to wake up early on Monday. Okay, so shaping the cookies. Oh, we need, it says 1/3 of cup of granulated sugar in a small bowl. So that when we scoop this, we drop the cookie into the sugar. This, I did not know. Come back to me. So kind of like how you do the chocolate crinkle cookies, they get dipped in icing sugar first. These ones just have straight sugar. Are these gonna be insanely sweet? I'm thinking because of the starter that they won't. Adds that little bit of tang. Tomato jam. That's so underrated, Valk. Now you're making me want to make some tomato jam. Used to make really big batches of that for the restaurant that Sam and I worked together at. Okay, I think we'll just leave this like this. This looks like a nice setup altogether. Trev. Take that, scoop it on the side until it's nice and flat. And then I'm thinking that we'll scoop all the cookie balls first. This is how it just came out. Nice. And then we'll roll them in the sugar after that. One thing that we're taught in culinary school is it's always going to be quicker to do the same task repetitively than, let's say, if I scooped this each time and then rolled it in the sugar and did it that way. The dough feels really good, I will say. I haven't really had this type of cookie dough in a long time. I don't often really make sugar cookies or that style. Raspberry habanero jam. I've never had that. That would be probably similar tasting almost to like a red pepper jelly. That would actually be good, I bet. Do a savory version of this with red pepper jelly. Put like some black pepper into the cookie dough. Don't use as much sugar, obviously. That'd probably be so delicious to like put beside a charcuterie or cheese board. Yum. Ah, get back there. And it's always nice to use a scoop like this for cookies because then that way they all are the same size. So when you go to bake it, you don't have to worry about some being overbaked, other ones being raw still. Eliminate those types of variables. It looks like peanut butter scoops. Kind of, hey? I was gonna make peanut butter cookies today, but with us making the peanut sauce as well, I didn't think I would have enough, actually. So I chose this instead. Also, scooping your dough out like this, it's really easy to freeze this way if you don't want to bake them all at one time. And just take your cookie dough balls, pack them nicely in a container where they're not stacked too tightly together, and freeze them. And then you just take them out, put them on a tray, and bake them whenever you want. I used to do that a lot when I was a baker. I would just prep really big batches of dough to grab the dough balls from, and then you bake what you need per day. Shower dough, I know. I read that too and I giggled. I'm sure you guys might have heard that. Shower dough. That goes along with shower dishes, I think, too. You make the shower dough and then you gotta do the shower dishes. We're almost there. Is this the second last one? I think so. Ta-da! Okay, that one's a little small. But there's a little bit of dough in here. I have a little bit of frog in my throat. I need a sip of water. Maybe because I tried drinking coffee this morning and then I wasn't feeling it again. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make like a small coffee as a treat. My body's like, no, you're not. I had like half of my espresso and then it's just sitting here. I might start drinking it now. It's like sad. Hi to you too. It is a lot of cookies. Did we get 30? I didn't count. I can scrape this, I think, as well. I didn't count, guys. Okay, so next, just kind of give these all a press before we put them in the sugar. So it stays together a bit more. We got 30, awesome. So that was the perfect size scoop then for this style of cookie. I know Tuesday is my coffee day, Michael. I needed a little pick-me-up this morning though, because I got upset when I looked outside. Because I really like to spend a lot of time outside, but not when it's gonna hurt my lungs. I forget that one. All right. Not doing like a crazy roll in the sugar. There's already quite a bit of sugar inside the cookie. This is just gonna give it a bit of crunch on the outside. And then actually, as we do this, because there's no way that we're gonna be able to bake all of these on the same tray, it definitely helps though as we were prepping them to put them all together. So let's get another tray. One thing when you bake cookies, it doesn't matter if they're small or big, but you really don't want to overcrowd the pan. That's when you'll have them start to spread out and just not bake up right at all. So let's do this while we do it. And I usually like to go 3 in a row. No less than 1 inch apart. Yeah, if we put this all into the oven, we would end up with, like some of the guys were saying earlier, just one entire cookie baked together. It could be fun, but that's not what we're going for today. Are you guys doing anything fancy for Mother's Day tomorrow? I already set up my FaceTime call with my mom. It's on the docket. It's about all I got. When you don't live in the same spot, I think we can sneak one more row here. I've had these almost since I started streaming, Trev. Just gonna spread a little of these close together. And I only made a mistake one time where I cooked something. I think I roasted potatoes and they had a bit of garlic in it. And then I noticed it absorbed the smell, so I had to like really clean them a couple times to get that out. But I learned my lesson and I only use it now for sweet stuff and baking, buns, things like that. Like, think about how much parchment paper I've saved over the years doing this. And our oven is nice and hot and ready when we are. We'll see if this is a true bake time of 4 minutes. I'm thinking with my oven, probably not. Probably be closer to like 6, 7. And yeah, one note on baking cookies, if you're someone that likes really nice and soft cookies still, always underbake them. Because when you take them out of the oven, I don't know about you guys, but I'm too lazy to scoop the cookies off and put them on a rack to cool. So I just let them cool on the baking pan. And they're still baking while they're out of the oven, right? Until they fully cool off. We got one extra dough ball here. I'll try and sneak it in up somewhere over there. Oh, sorry, we had 2. Okay. I'll take that down here. Go a little bit farther up. Remember, I said no less than an inch apart. These are nice and small. And we'll sneak those 2 just on the bottom. I have a little bit of sugar, and I don't think I can keep it unless I like strain it through a sieve because there's a couple of cookie pieces in there. So I'll deal with that later. You counted 32? That would make sense because there's 15 on each tray and then 2 on each end. Good job, Bonk. Okay, now we're gonna put our thumbprint. And you just use your thumb, guys, really easy. If you're weird about touching it, by all means, you can use a spoon, but you shouldn't be scared. And we smoosh it down enough to put jam in it. You want to come closer? I'll do these all kind of the same way so that when we scoop our jam, it's nice and easy. I don't know if I've ever made these before. That's why I chose this recipe today. I like eating them. I will say that. Yeah, I just love anything with fruit. That's usually what I crave. For my sweet tooth, I'll usually crave something fruity rather than like really sweet and desserty. I took out the jam a bit ago just so it could soften up a touch because it's quite chunky. And then we just need a small spoon. So grab a spoon that you think is going to be easy to scoop with. I think this is a good one. is you can scoop a little bit on the tip, and then I was just gonna use my finger to take it off. Variation of boysenberry, yum. I mean, probably what? One of the fanciest jam brands is the Bon Mama one. And those are so good. And sometimes they come out with seasonal ones, I've noticed. I think I saw one time there was a strawberry rhubarb. And you can get Bon Mama in Europe as well. That's it, guys. About a teaspoon. Eeh. I don't know what happens if you overfill it, but don't put too much more than what fits in your little thumbprint, right? It probably just bakes over and gets messy. And also maybe it's a color contrast thing with these. The bright fruit in the middle of the plain cookie. Crave honey buns and glazed donuts. Okay, I am a donut fiend. I will definitely give you that, but I don't really have the heart anymore to spend like $4 on a premium donut. Just make it myself, I guess. I need a bit more on that one. Yeah, me and Sam around donuts. Hilarious. We used to have this thing where like once a month we would walk to this fancy donut shop in Vancouver and then buy like a couple dozen for everyone that worked in the kitchen. And like as soon as we walked in with the box of donuts, the kids would just go nuts because they knew, right? And then we would cut each donut into like probably 4 pieces, so you get a little bit of each kind. It was always really fun. Just a nice little treat, right? Shortbread are your favorite? Put in fruit jam? Me too. I freaking am obsessed with shortbread during Christmas. Specifically the whipped style of shortbread, where they're super light. It is really easy, yeah, to make donuts. Make a little yeast dough up, let it proof in the fridge tonight, Trev, and then tomorrow you can have fresh donuts on Sunday. Ah, that was a lot. Need a bit more there. Thank you, Valk. My mouth is watering as I'm doing this. I think they're gonna be good, yep. That was really easy to make, too. Simple dough. I think these would be really yummy with tea. Need a little bit more for these last ones. Scrape off all the goodness. Awesome. The Starbucks shortbreads are good. I will tell you that I know the brown butter Rice Krispie squares that Starbucks sells, we actually got those in when we were working up at camp. But But it wasn't Starbucks brand, it was just the actual brand that makes them, and then Starbucks puts their own packaging on. They're unreal. Unreal. That was like my little gluten-free snack when I was like full on allergy mode there for about a year. Have we done a donut stream? We have. I'd have to go back and look on YouTube all the kinds of donuts we've made. But I remember we've done a couple versions. I know for sure we've done maple bacon. I don't know anything else though. Okay, let's pop these in the oven. It's nice and hot, 350 Fahrenheit, and the bake time says 4 minutes. But I'm gonna definitely set a timer for 5, and it might be closer to around 8. First task complete. Timer on. You don't remember seeing me do donuts? I don't think we've done donuts since we lived in BC. I want to check really quick since we have a couple moments. Okay, we did beignets like a year ago. I made donuts 5 years ago. Crazy. So yeah, it's definitely been a while. We should do a donut stream. Now that I'm able to eat wheat again, we should make some sourdough donuts, hey? The donut hamburger now. Apparently they did that up at work, Sam said. Like on burger night, instead of buns, they made donuts, and everyone was like, what the heck are you doing? Just like, give me a regular burger. And so then no one wanted the donut, right? They would just eat the patty, and then they just had this big bin of like donuts cut in half. What a waste. Okay, next up we're doing the peanut sauce. Gotta check the recipe out here. I know the gist of the ingredients that I want to use. Also, I will say, when I was young, my mom would sometimes do like homemade chicken tenders, let's say baked, and she would make a peanut sauce but also mix in apricot jam with it. It was amazing. I don't think it would be really good with what we're making today, but I just wanted to say that note since we used that jam already. You don't like donuts, but that one, sourdough sour cream, oh. I like so many different kinds of donuts. Don't even get me started. Okay, this is so quick too. What are with these recipes? If I actually followed the timings, we'd be done in like less than an hour a stream. That sounds impossible. Cook time 10 minutes, prep time 15. It does say it's a really easy recipe though. This refreshing and tangy sauté pork noodle salad is a healthy and quick family dinner recipe. Serve with fresh herbs plus some lime wedges. And they do fried shallots to garnish. We want to fry a little bit of onions up before we sear the pork. I have some onion to use. I don't have shallot though. That'd probably taste so delicious together. Okay, they didn't even link a peanut sauce recipe. They used one from the bottle, sneakers. Let me look one up really quick. This one looks good. It's from the Walks of Life. So let me make sure I have everything on this one recipe. I'm pretty sure I do. Here you go, guys. if you want to read that. I'm just going to add it quickly to our recipe command. Bam. And a post in Discord. I guess, yeah, you can buy peanut sauce. I don't know how much that would cost these days, but a lot of the sauces in jars in the store now, I think are anywhere from like $6 to $8. So if you have all the ingredients already at home, yeah, you'll spend less than half of that amount to make peanut sauce. They say the sauce is customizable, but definitely try it with the fish sauce. And I think I agree with that. The fish sauce just adds a little something. Let's say umami, right? We can definitely say it makes you think about what flavors are in there. That was 5 minutes on the cookies. Let me just peek. I mean, they're baking, but there's no way that they're cooked. So I'll do another 3 and check them. That'll be 8 minutes. Oh, that's actually what he says. So he says, I know the fish sauce is an ingredient that people love to hate, but it really adds a delicious umami edge that sets this recipe apart from others. I promise that any fishiness recedes to the background, just like cooking with anchovies. Like putting anchovies into Caesar salad dressing. Most of the time you don't know what's in there. Do I have fish sauce? Literally, this is how often I use it. It is the one bottle that is in the back left. But I do still have it. Come to me. Dun 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 dun. Most important part. Okay, what other things do I see here? Other adjustments you can make are your choice of soy sauce, how much sesame oil you use, and whether you like to use lime juice. If you want to spice it up, you can put some chili into it or sriracha. It says add all the ingredients into a bowl and mix. So other flavorings in here, we're going to grate some garlic and ginger because that adds some really nice fresh flavor. And then up to you what kind of peanut butter, whether you have smooth or chunky. I've had it both ways. I actually love the chunky peanut sauce because it adds a textural component, but I have smooth today. Gers, you typically do peanut butter, sesame oil, soy sauce, and chili oil. And then I will also say if it gets really thick, I usually first dilute the peanut butter with warm water and then add the rest of the ingredients. Yeah, lime or rice vinegar or even both. So this is a really good recipe. Okay, let's get a small bowl and then I'll get the rest of this stuff out. But yeah, the ginger and garlic, for sure. Do not skip that. Like that. I'm gonna choose this like kind of dry looking lime to juice so that we can save the nice lime for our wedges. Boom, boom. Garlic. I have some peeled already. Or sorry, off of the head. Just take some of those out. Maybe 3 cloves. They're small. Cookie timer again. This is how they're looking. They definitely expanded a bit. I'm just going to register the internal temp to see if they're actually baked fully through. Yeah, we're only around like 140 in the center. So the dough is still raw. So we'll keep those going. I was gonna assume it would be a longer bake time just with the jam being quite heavy on the top there. I love peanut satay sauce. This is another one that I crave often. We'll get our soy sauce and stuff. That. For a bit of sweetness, I'll do some mirin. And then let's see what we can get out of this rice vinegar. It's mostly mother, but I think we can sneak some out. It's floating cozy. It's been too long. I have not seen you in a long time. How have you been? You've seen the deep fried scallions, garlic, and ginger as a garnish, but you never tried it. Seems like a lot of work. For like, yeah, a hot weather sauce. That's so true, actually. Okay, and then we can't forget the peanut butter. I think that is a good start. I have a multitude of hot sauces that we can use if we want to spice up our life. Let's get this garlic peeled. And I'm gonna just trim off. I've been grating the fresh ginger into bone broth in the mornings and drinking that before breakfast. But I noticed that it builds up the little ginger hairs and then you can't really grate through it. We'll just even that up. You're getting back to feeling better? Nice. The ginger and bone broth, it is so good. I think that's what partly has healed my gut. I've been doing that for a couple months now. That clove died. Let's get another one. And then the part of the ginger in the bone broth is ginger is really good for helping inflammation. And I will say, there was a week that I didn't make any bone broth. And I actually like woke up more sore and achy than usual. And I was like, wow, it actually does work. Even for someone my age, right? I have played a lot of sports and stuff like that though. So my body's definitely been through the ringer. And we're just using the microplane to grate this stuff so it's nice and fine to go into the sauce. You could potentially mince it. Up to you, but this way it'll really mix in nice. And then yeah, usually I just go until we get to that woody part on the end. One of the last fancy restaurants I worked in, we had to grate our garlic like this when we made a big batch of polenta fries. Oh my gosh, it took so long. I was like, can we just like use a garlic press? How about that? Someone my age. I'm pretty young. But like I'm pretty sure it's known that once you get into your 30s, your body starts breaking down. It's easier if you have bigger garlic cloves. These are really small. Like let's say if you have elephant garlic. And it's not as scary when you grate it because yeah, you won't like cut your finger using a microplane. And then all you do is scrape that stuff out. And my hands are really sticky now, so I'll have to rinse them before we do the ginger. Ah! That's also how you know the garlic's nice and fresh, though. Robocoop the garlic into a paste. Or that, yeah. No, my chef was like so... He was very particular, let's just say that. Like so particular to the point where if you like cook something, for example, pasta or potatoes, you weren't allowed to cool it directly on the metal pan. You had to like put a layer of parchment or something like that to make a barrier. It's like, dude, people have been cooking like this forever. You know that, right? But yes, chef, you got it. Just say yes, chef. That's the easiest thing. These are looking good. And I can see there's a little bit of browning on the bottom now. Here, let's check the temp. And come over here. Nice. Such good color contrast. Looks like summer. I think this is gonna be perfect. Yep. 200. If it reads 195 Fahrenheit or higher, you're good. How do you make bone broth? I have linked a recipe in our Discord, Suzanne, if you use Discord. But it is so simple, I can just tell you right now. To make the best bone broth, you need bones. Like it's in the name, right? And this doesn't really matter what type of bone you use. Let's say the strongest flavored bone broth will definitely be beef. And then it goes pork and chicken. I will often do chicken just because it's one of the less expensive things and it's easy to buy like a whole rotisserie chicken or even just a whole chicken and then pick off all the meat and then you have all the bones. Put that into cold water. Really important you start all your broths with cold water. That's how they stay clear. And then you just simmer that on the stovetop together for like 24 hours to get all of the knuckles and the collagen melted into the broth. It's really important that you cook it long enough so that your broth is gelatinous when it's finished and cooled. I'll show you really quick from what I have a little bit left of. And you could also add like any flavorings you want into it. But usually in the morning, I don't want anything too like oniony or garlicky, right? So I just keep it plain with the water. How's it going, old style? So that's how it should look. This one's not as gelatinous as it could be because I did it with just a little bit of chicken bones and then just some beef trim, but no beef bones. But that's still what you're looking for. Okay, cookies are cooling on the back. We'll try those in a couple moments. Do you need the clean bones? You don't need clean bones. They can have a bit of meat and stuff on it, for sure. And yeah, if you want a deeper flavor, like Gers said, you can roast your bones before you boil them. But I usually leave them plain. And that's kind of more how you make like ramen broth and stuff, is they don't roast it, they just boil it together. Floating Cozy, you've never worked with sourdough, it scares you. I will say, I am not like the expert on sourdough for sure. I went a little crazy with it like almost 10 years ago now. When I was a pastry chef, so I would often make really nice loaves of bread on my days off. But yeah, I haven't even made a loaf of bread yet with my starter because the first one that I tried making just did not work at all, the recipe I used. And then I got a bit discouraged. So I'm still working up the courage to try that again. Lately, I've just been doing like little desserts and stuff that's been fun to play around with. So fresh garlic and ginger goes a long way, so we don't need that much. Up to you how strong you want those. Let's see how much peanut butter. Only a 1/3 cup. Wait, what? If you look at the recipe I linked for the peanut sauce, the author, it says by Caitlin and literally the spelling of my name. That kind of like weirded me out for a sec there. I was like, I didn't write this recipe. 1/3 of a cup? That's not enough, right? Oh, and let's not forget our little bit of sesame oil too, because that will add some nutty flavor. I usually just eyeball it. You just use yeast for your bread currently. That is the quickest way to make bread. One thing about sourdough is you want to make sure that you have time in your life to be able to let it proof, because it takes a long time, usually about 8 to 12 hours to proof the natural yeast versus the commercial yeast. It's not a quick process. This is my peanut butter, if you guys were wondering. Just natural, no salt, no sugar. We got those US Valencia peanuts. Sounds fancy. Just gonna stir it a bit more smooth before I scoop it out. Oh, there might be a little bit of peanut butter left, so I can make some peanut butter chocolate chip cookies next weekend. That's one thing I've been craving lately. So yeah, we're putting about double the amount of peanut butter that they called for. Maybe even triple. We're just gonna go a full cup. Okay, so that is really thick right now, right? Usually, okay, this is a hard one to think about, because we can dilute it now a little bit, but then if we add the rest of the liquids, it might make it runny. We can add all the flavorings now, and then when we add water, it's gonna dilute the flavor, so then you have to add more flavorings after that again. There is no winning, so just do it whatever method you want. Just gonna do a couple splashes of each thing that I think will be good. We'll start with the fish sauce. It's really strong. 1, 2, 3 is all we're gonna do, and I splashed it over across here. So I'm just gonna wipe that up before it smells everything like fish. This is not something that you want to like drop and break and get over your kitchen. I can't even imagine the smell in the house. Add all the flavors, then dilute a bit. That was my plan. A little bit of rice vin. You guys see the mother right there? So this will add a bit of acidity, but we are gonna do some lime juice as well. Make sure you balance out both of the flavors. Our soy sauce. Gonna add the salt that we need to make it a savory sauce. Let's go like that. Chocolate brownie bought from Lidl. Nice. Is it good? You satisfied with it? This is mirin, but it's sweet. So this is where we're gonna add a bit of sweetness to balance. Because you always kind of want like salty, sweet, and sour when you're making this style of food. And then lastly, another strong flavor, your sesame oil. So just a bit of that. Roll our lime. It looks quite dry. I don't know what we're gonna open this up into. it looks juicy on the inside. Can't be bad. It's maybe more pulpy than juicy. So it's a good thing we're using it up today. I love the smell of like juicing citrus fruit by hand though. Mmm. Yeah, the bitter as well. The bitter can sometimes be a hard one. Trying to think of what we would have in this that would be bitter. Nothing really. Okay, just gonna rinse my hands. It will give a bit, right? Lime definitely doesn't have that kind of sweet undertone that sometimes lemons do. Let's see how this stirs up. Go slow at first. If it will even go together. There we go. Yes, Gers, the rotisserie chicken at Costco. That's what I've been using for most of my bone broths, but I will say, if the chicken is pre-roasted, you don't get as much collagen from it because it's already been cooked once, right? So it's already cooked out a little bit of that. That's the only thing I noticed. Not saying it's bad. Look how thick this gets. It's so crazy. So now run some warm water. You don't want to go cold water because it will be harder to mix. It is easier though, I will say. Yeah, picking all the meat off of a rotisserie chicken and then just throwing the bones in the pot, really easy. Compared to buying a fresh chicken and then you have to actually butcher it. Boop. Just do a bit at a time until you're happy with the consistency. Next, we just gotta prep some fresh veggies. We'll get our pork seasoned. This was actually pretty easy stream today. I planned a good menu. I actually feel like I've been planning really good menus for the weekends. Everyone's been really enjoying the food that we've been creating together. Okay, a little bit more, but we're almost there. Mickey, you're gonna be the man of the house. It's time to step it up. You got a puppy, you're basically in dad mode now. This is your initiation. If you put the peanut sauce in the fridge, just keep in mind it will get hard. I'm gonna do just a touch more of the water and then I think we're a-okay. We'll give it a taste and hopefully don't have to adjust the seasoning too much. Isn't it weird though when you add the water it goes really white and then you stir it in and then it looks normal again? Do you want to go looser than that? It depends on how you're planning on serving your peanut sauce. If you're going to be dipping it with something, if you're gonna just be mixing it all together with everything, or if you want to like drizzle it over, because if you want to drizzle it, that's an impossible feat with how thick that is. It's just gonna plop. Thanks, yet it is. Okay, so let me taste this first. And then we'll adjust just a little bit more. That means you can buy the hot tub now? Yes, dude. Mmm. You get the fresh ginger and garlic right away. It's not overpowering, but it cuts really nicely through the peanut butter. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more water so that maybe we can drizzle a little bit more soy sauce for seasoning. Not a lot is needed though. And I think we can do a touch more sesame oil. And the rest of it is good. Because we're still gonna be putting fresh squeezed lime wedge onto the dish. So we don't need the sauce to be really acidic. This way we'll be able to drizzle it. Stir it, stir it, stir it. That looks like a really nice consistency. Now, yeah, see? Okay. We call that ribbon texture if you were baking and you were like testing how whipped your stuff is. It can make a ribbon on top. I think the only thing we're missing is a little bit of spice. I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of this habanero. Because I just really want the spice. Obviously, pour really gently. I don't want it to be so spicy that you're like, oh my gosh, that's all I can taste. One thing one chef taught me is that a lot of like high-end restaurants will sneak hot sauce into a lot of their dishes because the capsicum oil, the spice, opens up your taste buds a little bit more when you have it. And so if you use it a little bit, who called them? Guys, who called them on me? So if you just use a little bit of the capsicum, you're gonna taste more of whatever you're eating. It's a little trick. So you don't necessarily have to make it spicy. It wasn't you, that's what they all say, Bonk. Use cayenne, put it in chocolate chip cookies. Yes, yeah, spicy chocolate chip cookies. It actually tastes better now. I can't make that up. But yeah, you'd never know that it's spice in there. Okay, let's pop that in the fridge. It looks really good. I'm happy. That means I can sneak the fish sauce all the way back into the fridge now. Let's put away all of our peanut sauce ingredients and then we'll get into... I think we'll have a taste of cookie before we prep our veggies. Our pepper, carrot, cucumber, and cabbage. Michael. Hope you guys aren't calling them on me. It's giving me PTSD from when someone already called them on us when we were making pork shoulder. I've told this story lots of times. Perfect. Everything's in its spot again. My little ginger nub. We like kikkoman in this household. I think the smoke's starting to clear. I can see more of the sky now. And I don't smell it anymore. So maybe I will be able to go for a walk after stream. I knew it was gonna be smoky today because when I woke up, I was like instantly stuffed. Which doesn't usually happen. Just a stuffy, smoky nose. They turned out so good, and they're so adorable. I don't often make bite-sized little cookies like that. We've been making really big cookies. It's pretty perfect. To me, that looks like a jewel. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I always think. Like a nice little fruity jewel in the center. That's underneath. I don't think it could be more perfect. Wait. We need to do one thing before we try it. I almost forgot. It's not, I don't think it's necessary, but just for like looks, you're supposed to sift a little bit of icing sugar over them. For even more contrast. Let's get the sifter. Make sure there's no cocoa or anything in there. This is Grandma's hand-me-down sifter, could you tell? I'm never getting rid of it. I usually just put a plate under there while we're filling it so the stuff doesn't fly out. But like I said, this is not necessary. It's just for presentation purposes. Thanks, Mary. I think they turned out fantastic. I'm excited to try them. They're your favorite Christmas cookie? Whoa, that was a lot. More than enough. I think my favorite Christmas cookie is still shortbread. See? That's why you put the plate underneath. They work so good, Bonk. Like I said, I'm never getting rid of it. So then we just do a little dusting. And all I'm doing is like pressing on the handle in my hand. Oh, that one got a lot. Also, are they too warm? If your cookies are too warm when you first do this, it's just gonna melt the sugar right onto it. I think we're good though. I don't think I can stack this tray on without it getting stuck. So I'll just dust these ones as well. This is the tray that had 17 cookies on it. Now we can try it. It's probably really good with a glass of milk. But my milk, this usually doesn't happen. It expired literally on the day. Like it was supposed to be the 9th. And I went to use it that morning and it was already bad. I was like, what the heck? It's crispy but soft in the middle. And fruity. But the apricot has this little bit of sourness. Those are seriously perfect. Look how the jam's set up. I know I have some other jams up in the cupboard here from Sam's mom. There's an elderberry jam. That'd be amazing, I bet. That's a definite make again, though. They are a little bit sweet. just the dough itself, so keep that in mind. It's not too sweet for me to want to, like, not want another one, though. I definitely would have, like, 2 or 3. I think the sourdough balances it a bit. I would probably add a little bit more next time. Maybe 1/3 of a cup? I think you could easily do that. And yeah, the little bit of vanilla flavor comes out with the fruit. Great way to use up your jams if you have any left over from last season from canning, if you do that. Or if you have family or friends that give you jam. So, so good, guys. You're welcome, Mickey. Yeah, good with coffee, tea, milk even, all of the things. That's a success. This is the cutest cabbage I've ever bought. Let's get... Whoa, the cookie was in my throat. Let's get some carrot. I got a big orange carrot left from the market. And then I also picked up another whole bag today. So they've been lasting really good. Peppers. Cucumber. The cookie like sticks in the back of your like mouth. I really like that. It's like you save a little bit for later. Let's do these ones. They're kind of straighter. I still can't believe these haven't gone moldy after 3 weeks. I'm gonna dig out our lime. This lime looks way better than the other one that we had. Today, we're eating the rainbow. And yes, I'm using these peppers up because they're starting to go soggy. And we're gonna use the mandolin actually for a bunch of these. I think for sure the cabbage and the carrot and maybe the cucumber and the pepper will cut by hand. So let's wash some of these things up. We'll see how the carrot looks after I wash it. I don't often love to peel them. See if we can get a lot of that dirt off. It's working. Okay, this is one thing that I noticed this week at the grocery store. I wanted to ask you guys if you've noticed it where you are. So at the one store I always go to, they have brisket on sale this week. Whole briskets for $3.99 a pound. I've went to 2 different locations of the store, and both of the stores have 0 briskets, and there's not even like a tag for where the briskets would be on the shelf. To me, that says that they actually don't have any briskets. And there was never anyone at the meat section for me to even ask. Would they just put something on sale, like pretend, and then not actually have it? I'm so confused. Like I said to Sam this morning, I was like, is this like a joke that they're trying to play on us? Because I went the first morning of the sale and there was nothing. We are going to tip and top all this stuff. There are laws against that in the States. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in Canada right now with the grocery stores. So maybe that's part of it. You think they sold out, Mary? But when I go the first morning of the sale and there's nothing, I thought that was so weird. Like there wasn't even a section in the meat area that it would be. Just thinking if I want to leave the carrot whole or not, and I'm gonna say yeah. I couldn't ask anyone because both times that I went, there was no one around in the meat section. I guess I could have maybe asked the cashier to check. But like to me, that just says they don't have any. Because usually every time they have a meat on sale, I buy it, right? Like the pork loin, for example, last week, there was lots. Call the store, ask for a rain check. That's a good idea. What Sam and I decided was like, I'll just check maybe on the second last day of the sale or something closer like that. And maybe they'll get more in right before it's done. But yeah, maybe I'll just call and ask. Be like, I've gone to 2 stores and haven't been able to find this. Can I please have a rain check for whenever it comes in? At least then I'll know the truth of the matter. I'm just gonna trim this part, it looks weird. You had brisket for $3.79. Yeah, that's a steal of a deal. Like that was even less expensive than Costco's price on whole briskets. I'm gonna peel this little bit off too. Right, any beef that you can get under $4 a pound, money. And like lately, the best chicken and pork prices have been $2.99 a pound or $1.99. Let's just cut a little chunk off of this cabbage to julienne on the mandolin. I might cut it by hand, we'll see. I love purple cabbage for this reason. It looks like a brain, like that's just art to me every single time. I'm gonna give this a little wipe before we start cutting up everything. This, I need my cut glove, and I gotta bring the other blade over. So you gotta switch it to the julienne. Afterwards, we'll slice the cabbage. And we'll julienne the carrot. So this is a cut glove. And this is what we use at work. Usually this goes like under your rubber glove that you're wearing. And then this will help you not get cut. Those are a lot more comfortable to wear, these high flex ones, compared to like the chainmail one. And then this is our other blade that we'll switch out. Yeah, tie-dye cabbage. All right. Maybe I'll just grab a container to put all of our veggies into as we cut them. I might need 2. Quite a bit. Move that over. So we're gonna start with our cabbage because that is what we're just gonna get sliced really nice and even. And to do the cabbage, I usually actually hold it upright like this rather than putting it on the flat side. It's just easier to hold that way. Other than that one small piece to start. And you just go back and forth. And I have this on the thinnest slicing setting. I can go one thicker, but yeah, we want this really nice and finely shaved so that it mixes in with the noodles and the sauce. That's how it looks, if you were wondering what I'm hiding underneath. Okay, so another chat about European-made kitchen things. This mandolin I'm using is made in Germany. I'm gonna stop there. Getting a little close, and it's starting to fall apart anyways. Take the bulk of that. Get it in the container. And then we'll just take our couple little pieces extra. And kind of just stack them all together. And we'll finesse those a bit more. Really nice color on the cabbage, and it's really crunchy too. I'm excited. The mandolin is fun for me to use every now and then, just to switch it up, right? Because, yeah, I can cut it by hand, but why not use the little appliance? All right. Maybe we'll mandolin the cucumber too. Let's try. Put it on the flat side. Yeah, we'll get some nice slices. And then I can cut them a bit smaller after that. Nice. Okay, so I was thinking the cucumber, we'll take and stack it back up this way. And then cut it into maybe like 3/4 inch pieces, little bite-sized bits. That will mix in really nice with everything. Wow, it just kind of fell apart even. That's okay. Nice, Mary. It's just a lot easier to prep quickly and safely when you do have a cut glove on. Like, it was mandatory for me to wear a cut glove when we were working up at camp. But we didn't use mandolins or anything like that for prep, so when I'm just using my knife, I don't often need a cut glove. The chef always used to get so mad at me. The chef is our roommate, by the way. He's like, you're gonna get me in so much trouble if you get hurt because you're not wearing your glove, I was like, that's okay. That's a risk I'm willing to take. I'll take onus for it. Because, yeah, a lot of times if you're wearing your glove on this other hand, using your knife, like your knife kind of gets stuck on it and stuff. And it was a bit more of a liability for me to use one than to not use one. That looks really nice already. I love purple and green together. Okay, actually pop that in the fridge so it stays nice and crisp. And now we can switch this blade. Yes, safely. That is right. So all I do is pull this. That's how easy it is. Pull it out. And we put the other one in. Can you guys kind of see that underneath? It gives you instructions. So one side of the plastic that we just used is a thick one and one is a thin one. That goes there, and now we'll do our carrot. And when we do the carrot, kind of angle it, just so you get kind of a length like that and not too short if you try to do it just up and down. Yeah, when you hand grate cheddar cheese, that's a good one. I never think of that, to put the cut glove on when you're using the grater, because it is scary. And for this blade, I lift it up and then go back across. Otherwise, you're just kind of dragging it back and forth. But that is what the carrots turn out to be. Really nice little batons. It's crazy when you start shredding and shaving veggies like this, how much you end up with. It's getting a bit scary. I'm gonna stop there. Even with my glove, I'm not gonna push it. It's just not worth it. There was a bit of sneaky cabbage. I'll just usually like munch on that. And now I will always go to rinse all this off, because if you just let it sit, the veggies are gonna get stuck in all these blades, and then it's really scary to try and clean that after. And then as far as this cut glove goes, you just put it in the washing machine. Washing machine dryer, call it a day. Munch on the nub with some peanut sauce? Heck yes. Man, farm carrots. I can't go back now. I can't buy carrots from the regular store anymore. Hey, that's my cousin Ben. How are you doing, my guy? It's good to see you. Okay, let's cut our pepper into 3. Because we want that length of it. Just lay that out. And then slice across. You can go as thin or as thick as you want on the pepper. I wouldn't go too thin, because it can go kind of mushy and soggy. I was trying to think of the last time I seen my cousin, and like Christmas? Christmas is the last time? That is way too long. Look at that, though. Ta-da! Really sweet tasting. It almost tastes like candy. Alright. Veggie prep complete. I'm gonna put this little cabbage in here. Look at all those nice colors. Kaosha? What's that? Is that like, the safety thing in the States? We're gonna slice some lime wedges next. Chop a little bit of cilantro or just pick some leaves. And then we'll prep our noodles and our pork. We're all angels? Yes. That's right. Me and Ben together, guys. Literally, usually my face hurts afterwards because all we do is like joke and laugh. It's awesome. Do that. Oh yeah, the mint too. That makes me so excited. That's a good cousin, that's right. We got each other's backs. Look at my herbs. This basil from the farmer's market, 3 weeks old. And then I just got this mint today. You can hear my laugh in your head. Oh my god. At first I was like, whoa, that's a lot of mint. But I was thinking of making like some mocktails this week, maybe? Muddle up some mint, some ice, lemon and lime. That's really refreshing. Can we take one of these stems out? Ugh. That's a bit much. I don't know how big that mint... They're growing like mint bushes over there. Yeah, something about mint in the summer. Strawberries and mint. It wasn't super strong. So I'm definitely gonna put quite a bit. Maybe one more even. To combine with everything. And we're also gonna do some basil. Basil, cilantro, mint. If I had Thai basil, that would be amazing, right? Okay, this one's going bad. We gotta take it out because it's like a cancer. I only accept basil leaves that are the size of my face. Thank you. Like how we're still going strong on that. It's huge! I heart basil so much too. Should we do green onions as well? I mean, might as well. We gotta save a couple for tomorrow's stream for our crab salad, but we should use them up. The cilantro is definitely showing its age, but even this is like 2.5 weeks old now. I'm really impressed with how long I've been able to keep all the fresh herbs. There's nothing worse than paying like $2 to $4 for a bunch of herbs and then 5 days later it's already going bad. Love how my board's just full of green stuff. With the basil, you don't need the mint. I'm going for it anyways. I'm going all in. Okay. Now, we can pack the mint in here. I think we made enough room. Just take out those last few that are going bad. And yeah, something about having a towel or a little napkin inside the container with the herbs controls the humidity and makes them not go bad as fast. And yeah, usually I'm weird about packing them all together, but they're not flavoring each other. This is so much mint, my gosh. Oh, one thing I did see new at the market that I was eyeing up today was the place that I get the carrots from. They had sunchokes, if you guys know what that is. They're also known as Jerusalem artichokes. Was like, maybe when Samo's home we'll get a bag. I just can't eat them all by myself because if you eat too many sunchokes, you will get an upset tum-tum. A tea garden. That would be fun. That sounds really exciting. Okay, that's all good. That's basically all good. Just keep it stacked and then we'll chop it up. We'll pick the cilantro next and then do the green onions. Ah, it's all stuck together. Most herbs and stuff like that, yet it is, are actually really easy to grow. Like Sam and myself, we were laughing at the price of a small bunch of dill at the store is $4 right now. He's like, why are the things that grow like a weed some of the most expensive produce right now? Yeah, have you ever had sunchoke, Bonk? They kind of look like a ginger root, I guess is the best way to describe it. But definitely not ginger by any means. I would say like, what, potatoey sort of texture. And they're a bit of a pain to prepare because you gotta peel off the skin and stuff. Yeah, that would be a bit of a refresher if I actually got those. Let's just get a container or a bowl to put all the herbs in together. We don't have to keep them separate. Mixed herbages. Yeah, a bit nutty, kind of like crunchy, starchy. I like the comparison to hazelnuts and jicama. It's actually really good. I want my herbs today to not be super fine, a bit more chunky. So you get a good pop of the herb flavor in your bites. That's good. Just gonna use a bench scraper to lift this. Next one, we'll just slice the mint in half and then stack it. And maybe I'll even go in half again. Stack it, and then we can cut along. Whoa, it smells so fresh. You need another kebab now. I mean, the meatball plate that we made yesterday on stream, that was so satisfying. I almost had it for breakfast today. I was like, don't be lazy, save that for later. And then I made eggs and stuff instead. But yeah, you know it's good when you want it for breakfast. I might go through just one more time this way. Hi, goat farmer. That's okay, my friend. I accepted your apology. Plus, I already knew something was up. That's why I said it. I was like, you must be not having a good day, because usually you're, like, yourself, like you are today. And, like, we're always here to support the people that are having a bad day. You just gotta tell us that, so that we know what's happening, right? But I've gotten really good over the years of just not taking anything personally online. I got a good filter. Chicken kebab plate's $16.99, and you could make 3 meals out of it. That's a steal of a deal, actually. Hey! I do like chicken and macaroni. Annie! How's your weekend? We're getting into the herbages. We gotta do this together though, because it's just so good. Everything is right in the world now. Okay, let's welcome everyone in. Thank you very much, Annie. He doesn't even say hi. He just comes in gifting subs. What a guy. Thank you for the 5 subbies. We know some of these names. Welcome in Middy Moonstorm, Midnight Bella 00, Kelly Lynn Colby, Eyes Angel, and Crafty X-Ray Girl. Your local Middle Eastern supermarket had lychee fresh, I'm assuming? Did you get some? Haven't had fresh lychee in a while. Same with, if you guys have ever had rambutan. I got really obsessed with that in Southeast Asia. Rambutan and tamarind. My friend and I, we would just go hunting in the markets for it all the time. Thanks. Thanks, Bluesy. I've had this knife a long time. Probably 8 years, almost 10 years now. I love it so much. Still, I don't think I would get another one. I'd get the same one again. Oak, how are you doing this weekend? You wish you had that skill? It's taken me a while to get here. To just kind of take everything with a grain of salt. You got half a pound of lychees. Yum. I have been craving fresh fruits recently. I did really good this winter just buying fruits that were in season. So think like a lot of oranges and pineapple. But no fresh berries or really anything like that. And now it's time. So we're almost at the cooking part of the stream. We gotta season up our pork and then pan sear that. And then we also just have to prep our vermicelli noodles. And pretty much everything else is done. The cookies we baked first thing and they turned out like phenomenal. That's a for sure make again. It is strawberry season, but I was not paying $9 for a small pint of strawberries from BC that looked like kind of dried out already. I was almost tempted, and then I was like, nope. Don't do it, Kate. You know better. Zoom interview on Tuesday, science teaching candidates on Wednesday and Thursday. That does sound like a busy week. Are you just trying to rest a lot this weekend then, Annie? We also had a really exciting morning. Someone new came into stream and completed our bit goal for the sewing machine. It was insane. Fairly Critical is their username. So now, next week, hopefully Samo's home next week. I'm like crossing my fingers that he is, just because I miss him. Then we can go on our IRL adventure to get all the things to sew him his quilt. And maybe it'll be done before he goes back up to work, is my hopes. Because he doesn't have to bring winter gear up anymore this time around. So he can fit some stuff in his bag. A quilt is a big one, I'm sure. Sambo's having a new pump installed. Nice. That was needed. I left some of the lime pieces bigger, just so we get a good amount of juice. Just gonna put that like that on top of itself as a little lid into the fridge. And yeah, your meal request, Michael, and then Sam gave me a huge list of things that I need to cook for him while he's home. I'm gonna be busy too. I'm just grabbing plastic so we can pack away the cabbage. The rest of the year, yeah, basically planned out, we can say. Actually, we were talking today about what we want to do to celebrate our wedding anniversary this summer. We're thinking about maybe doing, like, look at my hair today. It's just because I have the fan going in the hallway. But we're thinking of maybe doing a road trip down the states, like through Montana and stuff, because we've never been through there before, all the way to Vegas in August. So we'll talk about it more when he's home. But if that's something that we do end up doing, we will plan meetups along the way to see you guys. I think that would be a super fun way to spend like 3 weeks of the summer. That's the other thing I said to him. I was like, August though? Like, we're gonna die. So we'll see. Samo says he can do it. We'll just keep him in the air conditioning at all times. But yeah, it's so inexpensive for us to take a road trip with the car. And we just love doing that. You get such a good experience of where you are compared to just flying to a destination. Okay, we got pepper, carrot, cucumber, cabbage, all of the herbs. We got our lime wedge. We need a pot of water for the vermicelli, so I'll get that on. Also, anyone that's just coming in, this is how our yummy cookies came out. Apricot sourdough thumbprint cookies. Really, really delicious. Just gotta take those off of the stove now. And actually, let us choose a pot for the noodles that we can just put the noodles in to soak. So that should be big enough. Maka. Hi, Maka Waka. How have you been? Have you been walking around? And thank you for the 25 biddies. 52025. That's a satisfying looking number. Have you been walking around? You like that, Annie? Okay, so I filled that about half full. I'm gonna put this on the front burner there. While that's heating up, we will prep the pork, and I'm just gonna show you our noodles. Dun 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 dun. Let's take them out of the package so we can see it more. You still get out not as much, but you try to? Well, that's good. I would say the same for me. So yeah, we're using rice noodles today, so it is gluten-free. The cookies are not gluten-free, but our meal is. Rice flour, water, and tapioca starch is what this is made of. It says soak vermicelli in warm water for 6 minutes or until it's soft. It says rinse off water, or obviously just take it out of the water, and then you're good to use it. I love rice noodles a lot. And it's probably something that I actually do crave, I will say. Okay, so we took the pork out at the beginning of stream so it could warm up. And that way it will cook very evenly in our pan. We'll use our cast iron. And let's season this up. Put them on a plate. And then we're just gonna cook these. Loving it, guys. Thank you, White Dove, today for the 51 in a row. Sous vide? No, I just vacuum sealed it all when I froze it. Because it stays better in the freezer that way. But yeah, we're gonna do salt and pepper, and I think just a little bit of coriander. And then we'll get those seared off to about, I'm thinking like medium well. And then we'll just slice them to put it with the salad on the dish. I might have to turn this on to find the coriander. Because we already have cilantro in the dish, and coriander is just this seed from cilantro. Complete Star Wars walking challenges, and it helps a little, Oak. What else did I see? Not feeling well still, but nothing physical, just mental. That's okay. And if you do want to elaborate not on stream, always feel free to message me, dude. I mean, you know that I'm long distance too, so I understand maybe a little bit of how you are feeling. But this is definitely a good place to just come and hang out and forget about some of your worries for a little bit. This pork looks insane. It makes my mouth water just looking at it. That loin I picked up, phenomenal for the price. And the reason I said I'd cook it more medium well is because of the fat. In there, I want to render it really nice so it's not chewy. Same with how you can cook a ribeye steak a bit more than like a strip loin, because there's fat in there that you want to get warmed through and softened a bit. Yeah, that's true actually. In Europe, you call cilantro coriander. I'm gonna sprinkle the coriander on first. That was a bit hard to say. Coriander on. Need to dry my hand a bit better. And then we'll do the salt and pepper. And coriander I always actually put in my pork rub as well that we make when we do anything on the smoker. It just pairs really nicely. I don't know what else to say to that. And remember, we have ginger and garlic flavors in the peanut sauce already. We grated fresh into there. So I'm not gonna put any garlic on the pork itself. Yeah, the smell when you are toasting the coriander seeds, because that's what I always do, is I'll just toast the seeds whole and then grind up a little bit so it stays nice and fresh. Smells so good. Oh no, you have this soap gene? My dad does too. He can eat a couple things with cilantro, but not many. I think my brother does too. I can't remember actually. It's been a while since I cooked for him. I'm doing a good layer of salt just on the one side. And then it will soak in as that sits there. How is the reno going? I don't think anything is still happening. I haven't seen him in about a month, so I should give him a message. We just been silly, like sending memes and stuff back and forth on Instagram. It's a good relationship when you can do that with your siblings. But yeah, I need to actually like go see him and see what's what. That is true, yeah. Summer is the best time for renos anyways. Gonna put the spice away. And then we'll just sear this with some lard in our cast iron pan. Let's get that prepped while we're waiting. Put the meat over there. Should be good. I'll just sear those on maybe medium high so we get a nice coloring on the outside and flavor. No gray meat allowed. How's our water? Can I start this? I think we can start this pan heating up. We'll go 6 out of 9. And then we just need some tongs. What is it that the Crocodile Dundee said? Meh, needs garlic. I think that is the saying. Besides lychee, you also picked up a package of medjool dates. Nom. I might have tried the whole putting peanut butter inside of the date as a snack. And that was really delicious, I will say. I could only eat 2 because it was super filling and sweet. But it is so good. And yeah, I still haven't got avocado oil yet. Because I was a bit shook when I paid $10 more for the same olive oil I always get. I was like, well, there's the funds I was going to use to buy the avocado oil. That can wait. I'm thinking about how I want to plate this. You definitely want a rimmed plate. And we're gonna basically be making a bed of noodles and then placing everything else around the dish. I think it'll look really good in this plate. Yeah, the same 2 bottles that I always bought for $18.99. This time when I went to buy them, it was $28.99. I just stood there for a couple moments. I was like, what is happening? It took me a second to comprehend it. Trekker, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Everyone, have a sip of water. You're doing good? Awesome. Okay, one other thing I'll grab really quick is just a cutting board for us to rest the pork on after it's cooked, so we can slice it up. 10 more days with the kids. School is ending so quick. I can't believe it. Where did the whole year go, hey? Okay, this water in the pot's basically boiling. I'm just gonna shut it off. And I'm gonna wait till this lard is actually smoking, and then we'll put the pork in. It's not quick enough for you guys. I was actually wondering how you guys felt about the school year. It was kind of a hectic one. Finishing testing this week. So there is so much grading to do then, right? Ugh, not the AP exams, Annie. You guys are like giving me flashbacks. Porco. Look how everything got absorbed into there. So we'll put it seasoned side down. We're not gonna move it. Give it a nice little press. Next one. I have another 4-pack of those in the fridge. I'm really excited to make for Sam. Like, that looks phenomenal. You have state testing and then your finals are on Monday. Yeah, that's bringing me back to high school, where like I almost failed math AP. But I didn't. I mean, I guess when I was in school though, guys, there was like a failure rate. Like you had to get 60% or higher, right? To be able to go into post-secondary and stuff like that. So it was quite stressful because at the same time, I was also playing soccer and training half of the school day. So I would play soccer 7 days a week, and then half of my school day I'm playing soccer. It was a bit much for a youngin'. But it definitely expanded my capacity as a human. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit now that it's hot. Go more like medium. And actually, maybe while this is frying, since the vermicelli takes about 6 minutes, let's open this up a bit more. Get both views. And I'll drop the noodles back here. I'm not gonna drop too much extra noodles, just because sometimes they're not that good left over unless you dress them with some oil and stuff. Yeah, so I played soccer all through high school. I was in soccer academy. And then I stopped when I graduated because I kept like spraining my ankles and stuff, and I hated sitting on the bench. So I just said, no, that's it for me, man. Maybe a little bit more. The verm prefix means worm-like. What's the celly part? Noodle? Celly just means noodle, so it's saying worm noodle. It's almost time to flip the pork. Just giving this stuff a little stir around in here. It's like flying everywhere. The pork just got me. It splattered right onto my little wrist. Ouch. You ended high school, went into the army. I always think that people that go to military, even if you don't stay in it forever, it teaches you a lot of great life skills that you can use later on. So not a bad thing. I thought I seen you, Nightwalker. Hello. How are you doing? Yet it is, you rarely ever got above a C in most of your classes in high school. And yeah, you wouldn't want to go back. Math was definitely my worst subject. Look at how insanely good that looks. I really loved biology. It was super interesting to me. I was good at English. I didn't like it though, but I was good at it. That looks wild. I'm gonna test how these noodles are. Nice, they're softening. So I don't have the pot on anymore. Cello is a stringed instrument. So it's like a worm string. Just a little bit of flavor on my finger from poking it. I wanted to really like chemistry, but because there was letters and numbers together, I could not for the life of me grasp it. So that's why I always kind of like think now that I might be autistic in that sense. Because I got tutors, I had everything. Tried different ways of learning it, and my brain just does not work like that. Like, people didn't understand that when you told them, right? They're just like, yeah, whatever. Blood oak. Naturally. I mean, that's where Samo started. He wanted to be an engineer. That's funny, your brains are like that. And like, as a kid, you didn't understand why you were like that either, right? Just like, wow, I must just be not smart. Okay, I think these are done. I'll tempt them in the middle, this bigger one. Maybe not quite. Never mind, I lied. It's only at like 110. Checking our noodles. They feel pretty good. Can go a little longer. Just a bit of crunch. Get a bowl to put those in. Same with you, Bong. Just did not get the literature. Did anyone even understand your presentation? That is hilarious. Not really. You remind me of, I don't know if you know, this is a chef that worked at Noma. He's Canadian. His name is David Zilber. But he put a little post on Instagram a couple of days ago saying how, like, in 7th grade, he was just, like, astronomically smarter than anyone in his class. And he would do stuff like that, like crazy presentations where even the teacher's like, David, what are you doing? This other pork chop back here is thinner, so I'm just gonna check that now. I'm gonna go more where it's like fatty. Okay, around like 120, see? It's a bit 10 degrees more. There is quite a bit of fat in the pan. We can do this. A basting. Just scoop the fat, put it over the top. That way it doesn't dry out. Not that it's going to, I don't think. It's just fun to do that. Samo's salivating. He's my pork man. He told me a couple weeks ago if there was one meat that he could eat for the rest of his life, it would be pork. And I mean, I would choose beef every time. Probably just because of where I grew up. But Germans love pork, right? And they have very good quality pork there too. Let's test our noodle. Perfect. Not like soggy falling apart, but it's not crunchy anymore. I'm turning the pan off while we do this. I might need to use a little spider to get the rest of those. But there's our noodles. And we'll take this off to rest. Look at the juices just like sitting on top of there. It looks so good. The scarlet letter or catcher in the rye. I've never heard of either of those. I gotta hold this up closer because it's really dark looking where it's sitting. That's what it is. It was awful. I forget what we read in high school. See, my brain doesn't even want to remember those days anymore. They weren't my favorite. Follow the river. Let's also zoom this out. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so we're gonna let these rest on the side and we can start taking out everything else for the dish that we need. I'm also gonna set up my camera for the plating because we've really been enjoying that. I really think I can say this too. When you buy a whole primal cut and butcher it yourself at home versus buying the pre-cut pork chops, there's something about it that it just turns out better if you butcher it yourself. Maybe it just means the meat in the grocery store is getting quite old by the time we buy it. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, but that's just something that I do notice. Same with chicken, right? You could buy like pieces of chicken legs, but somehow if you buy a whole chicken and then cook those legs, they're better. Dude, if you come over right now, I will for sure feed you. I'm the only one at home. The invite is always there. Get our herbs and our lime. Look at how colorful this is. You can't even see everything. Stir up our sauce because it's been sitting a bit, but look at the consistency now that it's cooled off. So I told you it was gonna get thicker. I think we'll just put a dollop of the sauce in the middle of the dish and then mix it in after that. Oh, you're a sickie right now? Dang it. We'll get better soon. Bob's birthday, April 25th. He's not saying the year. Oh, he said he's 55. Sorry, I missed that. $1969. Are you like a year older than my dad, I think? Taking the noodles out too. Okay, boop, boop, boop. Getting this set up. Aw, you were gonna go see Grandma today? I mean, if you're feeling better this week, we could always go if you're down. I need to go see her. It's been a while. I miss the Gma. Okay, that looks really good for plating on my end as well. Maybe a bit closer. We'll do this. And we still gotta slice the pork together. It should be nicely rested now. Look at those juices. I'll go get a slicer knife real quick. Your brother is only 13 months older? How cool. I've always wondered how it would be to have a sibling so close in age like that. My brother is like 5 years older than me. But we are definitely a lot closer now than we used to be. Holy shit, this looks so good, you guys. What? I'm just turning it because I don't want to start slicing it on the fatty end. Yeah, you and Louie are 18 months apart. That's why you guys are so, like, close. Alright, friends. Start this video. Oof. That looks insane. Are you guys seeing this? I'm trying to like fan it out as I slice it just so you can see like the juices pouring out. Bonk's just a baby. Where's the best lighting? There you go. So your pork chop should be glistening like that. It shouldn't be super dry. I think I need to eat a piece. Like, it looks insanely good. The crust? What is even going on? I'm just gonna take this away for a sec. We're gonna do our bed of noodles. Glistening like your forehead when you were 13? That's okay. I think my forehead glistens on every stream. Don't worry. Ready, guys? Our warm noodles, we're just gonna put in the middle and then stack everything else around. Nudes. I think it'll look really nice if you do all different piles of the veggies that we prepped. Oak, you're 31. I think my cousin's probably the youngest one in here. Or carrots and peppers. $29. What should we do next? I'm thinking this sprinkle of herbs. Give them a little mix. So this is basil, cilantro, mint, and green onion. I'm going crazy with them. I don't even care. I'm just gonna put them down on that side. I mean, you still want to see this stuff poking out from underneath the herbs. Rinse that. Now we can come in, scoop up our pork. Try and scoop it all up like that. I was gonna put it right there. Nestle it onto the bed of noodles. And you see how I didn't cut the other one because I'm not eating it yet? Just leave it rest whole. You'll keep it much more juicy that way. Okay, a couple more thins. For sure, the peanut sauce. Just gonna do a dollop right in the center. You can put as much or as little as you want. I think we can start with that. And then I think right over by the pork, we'll put our lime. I think that's everything. Show my video and then show you guys. What was it that we made for Appies for the one Thanksgiving that my dad made deep fried prime rib? See, we've always been about food in our house, guys. All of the times that I told you the stories about our potlucks. I don't remember the Appy, but I definitely remember the prime rib. Okay, get a fork. You shouldn't really need a knife for this. We can squeeze our lime. Excuse me, I already had a burp. Go in a bit closer view when I squeeze the lime for this. Because that'll kind of dress everything. And then you might need a little bit of seasoning for the vegetables, but always a good idea to taste everything together first before you add salt. Kimmers, sounds good. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Your favorite Thanksgiving ever? Oh yeah, they were in Vegas, so we just fed you guys. I love it. And yeah, this is gonna be quite a bit of food. I usually eat about half of my plate, like right after stream. And then I'll go for a walk for 30 minutes, and then I'll come back and crush the rest. And like, here's the thing. The pork, you can eat it warm or cold, too, left over. All are good. Let's see if this will even mix up. Like, obviously you could put lettuce, but we're making salad wraps tomorrow, or lettuce wraps. So I didn't want to use any lettuce today. The carrot stuck in my fork. Mmm. Just that little bit with the peanut and the herbs and lime. Okay, one thing I will say, and I've had this before from like a Vietnamese place that we always get, is dressing the rice noodles will make them not as sticky like this. Like they make a sort of like green onion oil. Cause look, I can't even eat it. It's all stuck together. Let's wrap some now. So yeah, just a suggestion. Dress your noodles, same with how you do pasta. I'm gonna go for a big bite with the noodles and veggies and see how it is. Mmm. All of the herbs together, phenomenal. You guys can hear the crunch of the veggies. It doesn't like need seasoning. You definitely get all the flavors. But I think like a little bit of salt on the veggies would probably make it taste just a bit better. Have some porco with herbs. Rice noodles stick less than normal pasta. I think you're right on that, Annie. Also, my sauce is pretty thick. That fatty bit of pork I just ate is like just melting in my mouth. Might even be easier to eat this with chopsticks, I'm not gonna lie. This is something that I'll definitely be making on our next like super hot summer day. And the pork is super good with it, I will say. I've never really had pork with this type of dish, with the satay and the noodles. But you can really put any type of protein, I was saying earlier. I mean, the dish is kind of a bowl, but I didn't really have a bowl where you'd be able to see everything as clearly. Like it would all just kind of be stacked up together because my bowls are very deep, but they don't have a wide diameter. Unless I made like a huge portion, right? Then I have a nice serving bowl, but if it's just me, I think this is good. But you're probably right, Bong, saying it's easier to eat in a bowl. Always good to ask questions. And yeah, I only have one of these plates. I don't have very much plateware at all. This with the shrimp? Oh man, that'd be delicious. Chicken, beef, pork, anything. Okay, one last peek at these. He's counting his pots and pans points. Yeah, the shrimp, less heavy than the fatty pork, especially on a hot day, too. And I said for veggie options, you could always do tofu or fry up some tempeh as well. Would be good. That was a success. You have that many pots and pans, Bonk? Are you saving up for us to like come visit you? You're saving up $1 million? Chicken thighs grilled, yes. Any grilled meats with any of this stuff? Delicious. Bob, 229.7. What if like 4 or 5 of you got together and combined all of your points for $1 million? Thank you, Mary. I'm glad I could show you guys this stuff today. I'm looking for someone to go raid while we're finishing up. Someone's building the Lego Eevee. Xylem Flex. What else we got? We got Kitchen Witch making vegan lobster rolls. I wonder how you do that. I've never had vegan lobster. I'd be intrigued to see that. Let's go see Darth for Baka, actually. He's doing Surf and Turf birthday din-din. And he often pops in here on chat. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe soy-based? But you don't see a lot of vegan fish options. Tried to redeem Bonk. For some reason, it said I changed the requirements. Yours is showing a redemption is 50K. Thought we changed it to 75. I thought it's always been... Well, yeah, I changed it to 50K for mine. And it should be 75 for Samo. But it said it's changed on your end? You're very welcome, Michael. If you're at work, thank you for being here with us today. The recipes are all in Discord if you want to make this for yourself. And we'll be back tomorrow making crab and Argentinian prawn lettuce wraps. I'm so excited. So we're gonna make a prawn and crab salad and then fill them into lettuce wraps with a bunch of fresh stuff. Get that set up. Perfect. I need a sip of water, 1 sec. A prawn day Sunday. Yep. Okay, it says it's intended for mature audiences, but I don't think anything too crazy happens over there. But yeah, we're doing Surf and Turf over with Darth. So we'll go check that out. Friends, thanks for being here, just spending time, hanging out with me. I hope I inspired you today with this one, and same with the cookies. They all turned out, all of the food lately has been turning out awesome. I'm really happy with it, and we're kind of rolling into more fresher summer sort of dishes. Thanks for all the bits today. I cannot believe we crushed our sewing machine goal. So we will definitely get that on order. And yeah, next week we will go on an adventure to get all of the rest of the gear so that we can make Sam a blanket to take up to work. Bob, thanks for the 1 while we're saying bye. And I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, cooking that up. See you tomorrow, my wonderful people. Let's go see Darth. Love y'all. Bye.